Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wounds to Wonder. I'm Ifra, and today we have the amazing Sukhi with us.
Well, thank you. It's so nice to be here.
I'm so glad. How are you doing so far?
Yeah, so I'm good. I'm a bit.
Yes. So, we had to do a bit of convincing to get her on the hot seat because a lot of audience members and clients of the center know that she works tirelessly in the background, being the essence of the center itself. And thank you, really, for giving us the time today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're making me blush now.
Yeah. So one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you today as well is, we're running the Light the Path campaign together, and some of the questions that have come up in the previous episodes, as well as a lot of DMs we've been getting, has been about centered about emotional abuse, and that is another reason we wanted to talk to you about emotional abuse today. It is something that people are slowly starting to talk about, but there's so much shame around it. So that is why I wanted to sort of sit with you and sort of break it down, how we can recognize it, and really sort of figure out ways we can deal with emotional abuse. So you work directly with a lot of our clients. You work with women throughout your life. I just want to know from you, what is sort of emotional abuse that women face every day?
um, so like with emotional abuse, it's not the kind of abuse that you can't see it happening. You probably won't even hear of it. The emotional abuse that I've seen in the past, and with the women that I've worked with, it's a lot of constantly like putting a person down. It's not like when you give somebody positive criticism in that enables an individual to grow,
Hmm.
but it's something that is putting an individual down, so saying it so that they feel less worthy of themselves.
Mm.
It's making them self-doubt themselves. It's making them think that, okay, I'm not good enough, or comparing. I've heard that from a lot of women, like when it could be a family member, it could be a lot of it's from partners that the emotional abuse has happened from. So saying that, oh, okay, like comparing so and so's wife is able to, oh, she's able to work and she's able to take care of the children.
Mm.
She's able to maintain herself. And if a woman hears this day in, day out, it's making her think that, okay, there's something wrong with me as a
Right,
woman.
right.
Am I not able to perform as a mum? Am I not be able to perform as a wife, as a partner?
The self
Um,
doubt increases.
that's it. It makes her really start thinking again that she's in the wrong.
Right. And a lot of times, we're also as women conditioned
Mm,
to think that everything's our fault.
mm,
We should keep quiet. We should sort of manage it internally. We should not react to things. Maybe they're not being serious. We don't really deeply think about things that are being done to us.
mhm.
We try to always try to nurture, save things, sort things out. But the fact that we are being abused, we don't even acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, no, we just think that it's fine, it's normal, that it's okay, and it has a lot of women that come through these doors um, would say that it's my fault. Or if I had done, if I had taken care of the house, or if I had done this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. So we're conditioned to look after everybody else, but not ourselves. But then when we step back and think, would we say these things to a close friend? Would we say these things to a sister? Or if our mother was going through this, would we tolerate this? We wouldn't. But when it comes to ourselves, we just accept it, and we just think it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it goes on in our head that our partner isn't hitting me.
Mm-mm.
He's not hitting me.
Mm-mm.
There's no physical touch
Mm-mm.
involved. So how can just words be abuse?
Mm-mm.
And we're also seeing it across like online mediums that people are abusing women and girls disproportionately than anyone else, but words have weight, right?
They're very sharp. There's something that my mum has said, and I think a lot of people have heard it. And I say this to my daughter as well all the time. Whatever comes out of your mouth cannot be taken. You cannot
Yeah,
take that back.
it's out.
So it's like these words can be like daggers that are really digging into a person. So if I was to carry on like this, there's going to be a bruise. There's going to be something
Yeah, I'm
there,
gonna get hurt.
and you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing what words are doing. So when I'm constantly saying something to you day in, day out, it's going to be a scar, but it's a scar that nobody can see. And because nobody can see it, they don't think it
It
exists.
doesn't exist. It's not in front of us. It's not something that's loud.
No.
It's not something that's again visible in any form,
Mm.
unless you really know how it feels.
Mm.
A lot of people, even family members, can't really connect.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're like, oh, there is nothing serious.
Yeah.
It's nothing, it's not, something that you need to do anything about. Just forget about it. Try a bit harder. It's always on the
The
woman,
woman, yeah.
right,
Mm.
to fix everything. So from that perspective, um, a lot of women's sense of self slowly, like you said, like it goes on and on and on a little by little, it gets eroded, right? But we don't really think about that because a lot of times we've seen it since we were growing up, right?
Mhm.
Like from patterns in the family, someone we've seen hurt in some way, and we've seen a lot of different kinds of relationships growing up. But how do you think it affects us as we grow up and deal with these things?
So that's a really good point that you've made. It is embedded from a young age, and when you see like our parents or even like family members, aunties and uncles, and the women that put up with it, women are known to be at home, take care of the kids.
Hmm.
Okay, back in the days they never used to work, but
Yeah.
even then, even if they're working, they're expected to do the housework, cooking, cleaning, and be there for them. Their
Yeah.
husband, look well presented, and then it's that cycle that's never broken. Um, in my religion, like it's not like we shouldn't be putting up with abuse, and we shouldn't. Men and women are treated equally, but however, the culture is very different. So if you
Mm,
go back
yeah.
home in India, like when my gran was growing up when she was young, it's difficult. It's expected. Okay, if your partner is drinking, or if he physically abuses you or emotionally abuses you, or he's cheating on you,
Mm,
he's making you feel less worthy, it's okay. You can put up with it, and that's what we're watching. We've been grown up to watch to say, okay, fine, they've done, they put, and that's the one saying I've always heard from people is, okay, we put up with it, it's okay, he would change.
mm.
It's mum's duty to hold like the whole family
Family
together.
together,
Yes, it's important for her to be at home, because if you're a single mom, then nobody's going to want to marry your child, or nobody's going to, there's no good future for your child. Or it could be that if you've come from a single household, you then don't want your child to be raised in a single household.
yeah.
So that again is that mindset again, because you think, okay, fine, my mom went through this, and this is me speaking from the heart. Like I am my raised by a single mom, and I've seen the abuse, not just the physical, but the emotional abuse that she went through from my father and from extended family. And just watching that, it makes you think that, okay, it's fine. So when you do then get into relationships, and when your new partner or your partner that you're with continues that pattern, you think it's okay, it's fine, because it's happened to you. It
You've seen a
becomes
version
normal.
of it
Yeah.
somehow, and then
Mm.
you keep at it.
And you just think it's normal to continue with this.
I think we don't talk about generational cycles enough
Mm-mm.
because, like you said, it starts with our grandmothers
Mm.
who had been shown the way by their grandmothers, and they've taken on so much labor, they've taken on so much effort to keep families warm,
Mm.
safe, taken care of, but then they've always sacrificed themselves. It's always
Mm.
been from the perspective of self-sacrifice,
Mm.
and I think we do that a lot
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis.
Every day.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that something that also feeds into the abuser sort of using that against us?
Yes, 100%. Because then they will feel that, okay, yeah, she needs me. And I feel that you're feeding them. Like, you know how you water a plant?
Hmm.
You're watering the plant needs water for it to grow.
Sustenance,
The
yeah.
same thing like this. You're feeding your abuser by allowing, I'm not saying you're allowing them to continue this, but that behavior that they're having towards you, it's feeding them. So it's making them think, okay, fine, I can get away with it.
Right.
Okay, or it will be like, oh, well, you should be lucky that I'm not raising my hand at you. Or family
Right, they
members
try to
may say that.
justify it. I
Yeah,
didn't
but,
hit you.
at least it didn't hit you.
Right.
Like you should be glad. My friend hits his wife or hits his
It's
girlfriend
so
every
much
other day.
worse.
It's
Look
so
at
much.
you. I don't do that to you, right?
No. So this is what, and a lot of the women that come into the center, and it's heartbreaking, because when they sit here in front of me, they say to me, well, they're pouring their hearts out, they're crying, and then they were, well, at least I'm just glad that he hasn't hit me, he hasn't raised his finger, and it makes me think, well, look what he's doing to you right now. Like, there's he's making you feel less worthy. He's making you feel that you're not good enough. If anything, that you need him. Isn't this?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a survivor of intimate partner violence itself. And it took me many years to actually get out of it. And I think that's a very common story we can hear from a lot of our clients in some fair of experience. They've gone through it. And I think we know a lot more people who've been through it than we don't. So one of the things that I unfortunately got from some of my closest family members was exactly what you said. Hey, at least he didn't hit you. You know, you can figure it out. You know, let's sit together. Let's talk these things through. At least he didn't hit you. But then it's not always the physical things that break us down, right? Emotional abuse can be as simple sometimes as them just not letting you be yourself, not letting you have your hobbies, and as well as anything that gives you joy. They sort of like take things away, right?
They want to. It's like similar to, like, the phrase that a lot of people are using now is gaslighting.
Right.
It's they are
We didn't
making.
have those words,
No,
right?
that's it. So,
Yeah.
but we didn't even know what they.
Yeah.
What is
Even though it
that?
came out like last week, we were talking to Nadia. She said it originated from a movie, but then we didn't grow up hearing it. That it wasn't a thing.
No, and then it's just like they're taking you away from your happiness. Okay, like okay, fine. Why is it that yes, women are nurturing, women are loving, women want to like keep everybody together, and I think that's why I would say men would take advantage of that. Making okay, fine, you're not physically abusing someone, but then you're taking away her identity. She's slowly turning into a shell. You can see her really shrinking. Then how can she then be there as a role model for her children or the future generation? She can't. Um, but the other thing I wanted to say that with emotional abuse, it's not always something that's verbal. Sometimes it's non-verbal, in the sense like if you have a partner who's, for example, he's cheating on you. Women, we have this gut feeling.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it shows up in the weirdest of ways, but we know. Eventually, or whenever we will find out.
That's it. So like you would know. But I know we're laughing about it now, but it's so hurtful that 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 incident, or if you're cheating on your partner or looking at Facebook and Instagram, that's another way of actual abuse, because you're then making her feel that she's not good enough, she's not pretty enough, she's not fun enough.
What is wrong with me?
What is wrong with
that
me?
You have to do that.
That you need to look at someone else, and then making you feel that, oh my God, no, no, you're just imagining it. That wasn't me. And some stories I've heard from people are like somebody's they've hacked my social media account. So it wasn't me who was doing that, it was somebody else. So this is all playing in your mind and it's in your brain. And slowly we're so focused on, okay, did this even happen? Am I going mad? Maybe
it's in my head.
It's in my head.
I'm being paranoid.
I'm being paranoid. That's it. And then that's when the sleepless night starts. That's when, like, oh, you have to take paracetamols to go to sleep. But it's all interlinked. Then it goes into the health issues.
It honestly, like, we internalize so much pain, it affects our bodies. At one point, I think a lot of women have experienced their bodies won't let you go on unless you sort of not necessarily confront it, but let yourself deal with it, because we just carry so much on our shoulders, on our backs, everywhere. And the fact that we are stuck in a cycle is not something we can always see. Breaking out is a massive step, right? But then we sometimes can't even see that we're in that cycle, we're going through it, because like you said, we've seen a lot of our family members, our grandmothers, mothers, they've gone through so much, sacrificed so much, but they've unfortunately, even through suffering, shown us that we can still do it, manage, survive. But it's not just about survival, right? So okay, I mean, is it that all, like, is that all that we just have to survive?
Yeah. Because again, that's what they've done. They've survived. So it's okay. It has to end somewhere. Like, if it doesn't end with us, we're then passing this on to the next generation.
Right.
Hence why I always say that whether you have a daughter or whether you have a son, you need to teach them that
Right.
this isn't right. And I'm not saying that breaking out of that is easy. It's not. It is extremely, extremely, extremely hard.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, and my stomach like actually feels a bit funny when I'm saying this. When you can't say to a woman, "Oh, well, you can leave him." No, she cannot leave him because she's become so dependent on him, whether it's if it's not even for financially, but he's like pulled her in, that this is a normal daily life for her. So she thinks that um being cheated on, being spoken down to, or to made feel like okay she's not good enough, it's normal for her.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't have that, that's why they say like, oh, if you do leave an abusive partner, you then for the next like 3 months or 6 months, you're still in this shell. You're still
Right.
thinking that, oh
Yeah,
my God,
yeah. I think there
this
were
isn't
studies.
normal. Yeah, this is not
Yeah.
normal. This can't be normal because you're so focused on living in that.
Because you're in it. Like
Mm.
a lot of people say that, oh, you're still wearing rose colored glasses, but then you're in that space, you're in that hell. You can't really see outside of it until a long time has passed. You've done the work, you have moved from survival, and then eventually started to live again, right? So from that perspective, I remember we were talking the other day, before one of the workshops started at the center, that mindfulness is a tremendously useful tool, actually, to sort of deal with the abuse, maybe. I just wanted to know from you, as an, it's all in our heads. We are going through the emotional abuse, but then we also have to do the work in ourselves so that we can break out of it. So, how can one do that, or at least start somewhere?
Okay, so it's in our head because it's been put in our head. Okay, so
Right.
it's in our head because they've put it in. It's been put into our head, whether it's a family member, whether it's an abusive partner. So it is there. It is real.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how we have to deal with it is something that we have to work on.
Mm.
And how that is, I find that there's a few tools, and one of them I feel like is writing. Writing really, really helps. So whenever you're thinking something, just write it. Like write it all down and then put it away. In the morning, read it and then just burn it. Like I'm not saying
Oh,
that
wait, wait,
let
wait, wait, wait. Sorry, we're gonna write our feelings and then we're gonna burn it?
yes, but the
Why?
reason why we're going to burn it, because at that point when you're feeling really low and vulnerable, the thoughts that are going to come out of your head are going to be like things that you want to let go of. It may,
Raw,
yeah,
I
it's going to be
guess.
raw. It's going to be like, oh my, this is what I've been through. Some things that you're too scared to share with the
Someone else.
outside,
Oh,
even a sister or even with a family friend or even with a counselor. We don't want to share it because we don't. I feel that women, we feel that we're being judged if we share our story. Whereas
yes.
okay for
What will
men,
people say?
yeah, what are they going to say? But men
Yeah.
can do whatever they want.
Oh my God, yes.
So I feel,
Proudly, boisterously.
and if anything, it's looked at. Oh, okay, that's okay. He's a boy, and it's good for him to do this. But burning that, I really felt it for like when I would write my letters down, and this is something that I've done myself. So where I've written them, I've read them, and then I've burnt them because a I don't want no one to read them, and b they're my thoughts, they're my feelings, and I don't want to share them with anyone. But writing them down gets them out of my head. It's out. At
It's
least
not
even
festering.
no, it's not growing. I'm not
Hmm.
planting it because the longer you keep them, the longer you're planting that.
Hmm.
The other one I would say that I've gone back to now recently is meditation, and I find that people say, "Oh, meditation, it's like, guided meditation, breathing, really
Mhm.
focusing on on what you're thinking." But the thought that you have to put in your head is something that is a positive thought that you want to achieve. So a lot what I would say to my daughter as well, that you can't control what goes on in the world around you. You can't control anything else. But the one thing you can learn to control, and especially like at a young age, is
Mm.
if they teach them now, is your brain, is your mind.
Right.
I'm not saying that okay, fine if you have health issues and then that is difficult, but otherwise, if you have like a thought that's come in and it's triggering you,
Hmm.
we have to do the work on ourselves. Yes, we've got doctors there, we've got counselors there, we've got workshops, we've got everything that can give you the tools. But if we don't actually use those tools, then how are we meant to get better and how are we meant to get through this? It's like me, you taking me to the gym and putting me in front of the gym, but if I
Right.
don't physically do the work,
Definitely not going to get on the treadmill. I'm just going to stare at it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just
not
gonna
gonna
stare
make,
at it. It's
yeah,
not gonna do anything.
yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing like this, like the mindfulness and meditation. If I don't do the work, then I'm not gonna clear the fog that's in my brain.
Right.
So it's about getting the old picture out or the old story out and putting a new story in. And
That's
that's what I think
beautiful,
women,
actually.
yeah, women are scared of that. We're scared of new stories because there's something is that we don't know. It's like better with the devil that you know than the one that you don't. But
Oh,
it's
yes.
the saying that I've heard quite a
Mm,
lot,
yes.
especially like in the past. But how do you know that that's what's going to be in the future?
Right.
You don't know.
We don't even dare to think about the grass is green on the other side. That is not something that we can comprehend. It's a nice way of saying it, that we're in a fog. It is chaos, it is hurt, but then it is also a fog. A lot of ways we can't even see that it's actually happening to us. And I know a few people who've shared with me that sometimes when people going through intense emotional abuse and toxicity in their lives from their intimate partners, particularly, they sometimes have like emotional out of body experiences, not necessarily physically out of the body, but more like they can see them going through it, but it's like they're not in their bodies when it's happening, but they can feel it. But it feels like it's happening to someone else.
Yeah.
So from that point, when you're in that fog where you feel it, there's something's wrong, you know it because we have that gut feeling, but then we're too scared to sort of do anything about it. So what would you say that person, that woman can do in this situation when they're covered by fog and they're very scared of, even acknowledging the pain that's happening to them, the abuse? Because if we acknowledge it, I've said this before as well, it becomes real. So what should they do or can do at that time?
I think that at that point, it depends what situation that individual is in. I find that if you're lucky and blessed to have someone that you are so close to, whether it's a family member, whether it's a child, or whether it's normally I think people tend to do it for family members. Like
Yeah.
if you have a child, you would have to make those changes for the sake of that child. But
Hmm.
there's some women there that don't have that,
That
so
support system.
they don't have no support system.
Hmm.
So
And
to
sometimes the families themselves sort of enable this behavior.
Mhm.
They encourage you to stay there.
Yeah,
So
they just say it's fine.
hmm.
But you have to kind of think to yourself, is that like you said, out of body experience, put yourself there. Like look at yourself. There's a lot of mirror work, and this is
Hmm.
back from Louise Hay. Like she does a lot of mirror work, and I'm going to quote her because I have like referred her teachings to a lot of women,
Mhm.
and I've actually done them myself. Like look at yourself in the mirror. Pretend you're talking to a friend. Would you let your friend or your sister or your daughter or your mother go through what you're going through? And if the answer is no, then you know that this is not right. And that's like you say, you can reach out for help, but only you can do that. No
Right.
one else can do
No
that for
one
you.
can make you do it. I know this is a silly saying, but I've always believed in it. It's like you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's what my mom used to constantly say when I was being stubborn about a lot of other stuff. But it was true because in very difficult circumstances, we don't really want to deal with it because it's another burden. You're already going through so much pain and agony, right? But that's actually an interesting, the mirror work thing. I didn't know that as a concept. So you sort of can you just share a bit more about it? Like how do you sort of do that kind of mirror work so that you can see what's happening to you?
Okay, so how you can do that is first of all, you know that you're going through the situation and you want to get out of the situation. It's not even um, it's very simple. You just stand in front of a mirror and you just talk to yourself. But when you're talking to yourself, you look at yourself. Yes, you're a human. You're standing there. You can even name yourself. So I can say, I can speak to myself. I'm like, oh, Sukhi, how are you today? How are you feeling? Like really look into your eyes. Like look at all the flaws. Like
So we are
take off
talking
all the
to
makeup.
ourselves. If
Take off all your makeup. Take off everything that is putting that barrier up in front of you, and look at the raw you that's there in front of the mirror. And then
that is
we say
scary.
eye to eye. Like if I look at you, like the women that we like come in, when we look at them, they could be all happy and everything looks perfect from
Put
outside.
together,
But
yeah.
the soul, your eyes can't lie. Your eyes don't lie. Your eyes can tell you if you're happy. Your eyes can tell you if you're sad. So by looking yourself in the mirror, you can see that okay, fine. There is some changes that need to be made. You can clearly see that isn't the woman that I want to be. That's the woman, not the woman that I want to be known as. And that's not the woman that I want my children to look up to. It's not easy, it's very difficult. It's hard work, like to go through any mental and trauma and emotional abuse, especially from a loved one. It could be somebody that you've loved dearly. You've given them your everything,
Yeah.
and then to be thinking, okay, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for this, but we put up with it again for the
Yeah.
sake of the family,
Yeah.
or because I don't want my child to grow up without a father. Or what are my parents going to say? Oh, another divorce on the.
I'm also disappointing them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this depends on how we feel and our sense of self, because we also feel scared to disappoint people around us. One part, of course, is the abuse, the torture that women have to go through, and also young girls. A lot of young girls go through emotional abuse and they just think, oh, this is a relationship. We're going to come back to that in a bit. But we don't really think that, oh, this is not me disappointing someone else, someone hurting me, it's being done to me. And that's a very tricky place, right? Because we don't want to sort of, again, face that it's not about people disappointing, I'm disappointing people, it's just happening to me. So from that perspective, a lot of young girls, the reason we're talking about is also breaking generational cycles, and mothers, unfortunately, because of the society we live in and the gender roles assigned, again, we need to dismantle all that, but mothers have a lot of responsibility for their children, even if amazing fathers exist, and they do. But at the end of the day, a lot of the onus is on the mother to protect the children. And young girls who are getting into relationships, teenagers, young adults in universities, they are stuck in a lot of really, really awful relationships. I wanted to use another word, but really awful relationships. And they're emotionally abused, and they think, one thing that I've heard so many times is, it'll never get better than this. So when a young girl, a teenager, or a young adult, a young woman is going through that in their head, that, oh, okay, my partner, my boyfriend is telling me, oh, no one's going to love you as much as I do. No one's going to, treat you the way I do. I love you. And the love bombing bit. But when a girl and woman, a young woman, is thinking that, okay, it's not going to get better than this. This is the best for me. I deserve this. How can they sort of disconnect from that feeling?
It's very hard to disconnect from that feeling, because if you're in that situation and you're being, like you said, love bombed, and you feel that, okay, fine, I can't get anyone better than this, you continue to that cycle, and then you realize 6-7 years have gone, and okay, I've spent 6-7 years, or
Stuck.
another 4-5 years. Okay, another 4-5. Let me just continue. It's never ending. That's why it's so important. And I want to say this again, like, if anybody knows any friends, family, sister, anyone out there that you feel, okay, is going through this, or you as an outsider, they see it more, um, but when we're in it, we don't see it. So because yeah, like I said, we have the rose about glasses and we think everything is hunky-dory, but actually deep down we know that it's not. It's important for families and friends to step in, but I'm not saying that it will be easy for them, because there'll be times where they do step in and then they've been cut off by the
Yes,
partner.
that is such a delicate thing. It can happen.
It can happen because the partner doesn't want anyone to step in. He doesn't want you to become independent. He doesn't want you to become confident. And if he knows that these strong people are going to be there and are going to try to
Save her, or protect her,
he's going to cut them off completely. So this is a very difficult answer for me. So I don't have like the exact answer to say what we can do. But all I can say is that if you don't feel from inside that this is healthy relationship in any situation, if you don't feel inside from yourself that you wouldn't want your sister or your children to go through this, then that's our duty. Sometimes the abuse is not our fault. That's not our fault. But it's our duty for ourselves to try to get ourselves out of that. Seek help if you can. Again, the Women's Centre of Halton, for anyone that lives in this area, this is one place where you can come. Um, sometimes it's not easy to get out that relationship straight away. So women will come here, they're not ready to get out that relationship. But just having that a community around you. So when you come here, or if you meet a friend, you can get that off your chest. You're getting it out. So if you're not writing it, you're then speaking to somebody about it. It just makes it a little bit easier. It's
Sometimes we can hear it from someone else,
Mm.
right? We may say a lot of things, but then if someone else says it, we believe it more, right?
I believe it more.
It happens. So the sense of community, sort of, even if you don't have a support system, sort of try to make one. It's tremendously difficult, no doubt about that. But then seeking these opportunities, our center is one, and there are so many other resources. We have so many partner organizations who support as well. But then seeking that community so that you are not just alone in that space is very important. And what you keep saying something in the pit of our stomach, we like feel it. Ladies, trust that gut feeling. Honestly, it has saved so many women, because trusting their gut and then doing something about it. And some of the hardest bits are actually taking the first step. I'm sure a lot of women have reached out to you, but then they backed off because they don't know what to do, or they don't want to, they're not ready for it. And honestly, it is what it is. Our job, and we genuinely believe that we should be there with them when they're ready to take those steps. But then they should also trust their gut feeling, right? So, from that gut feeling and internal feeling perspective, um, we blame ourselves a lot for all of it happening to me. I will say a very recent incident that happened to someone very close to me, and they're going through a very difficult time in a very difficult marriage right now. And one of the things that I caught her doing was rationalizing the intimate partner's abuse, and sort of saying, oh, I must have done something, I must have done something to have, for this to have led to this. There's a saying in our culture, and I detest that, is ek hate tali baje na. It means, you cannot like sort of clap with just one hand, you need two. And I think there's a version of it in your culture maybe as well. And this is sort of abused and exploited so much, because it also again makes us feel that I have a part to play in my own abuse. And that's so horrifying, right?
That's just, it's heartbreaking to hear women when they say that, because there's no, it doesn't take two to have an abuse. No. Okay. I'm not saying that that saying is very similar to what we say, and we also say that if there's two dishes in them, they're going to rattle,
Right, right.
So the same, like, to actually think that she's at fault and she has anything to do with this, it's not. Nobody asks. Now, are you sitting here and saying, I'm not sitting here and saying, okay, come please, like, mentally abuse me, like,
Yeah.
say this to me, tell me
Hurt me now.
I'm not good enough, tell me
Yeah.
that, nobody. When you take, when, especially when it comes to the sacred, like, relationships, like, your partner relationships, women are, they go with the heart, they follow their feelings. They don't just rush, okay, fine, this is a person that, okay, I'm going to marry him. You take time, and you give your all, whether it's to him, whether it's to the family, whether it's to your children. And a lot of women don't take up promotions or career growth because they need to make sure that the family is looked after.
Right.
And then, so she's not sitting there saying, come, give me, like, tell me this. So how is it a two-way thing?
Right. Like a lot of people have quoted that, oh, it takes two to tango. You should like see what you did and then fix the relationship. We always end up, the blame always comes to women. It's like either it's coming straight or it's coming like from the side like this, but it's always coming to women.
But if it was the other way around, like, for example, I'm not saying that there's not men out there that have been mentally abused by women.
No, there are a lot. Yeah.
If you see a woman in that situation, you will see straight away, friends and family members will be like, oh, she doesn't know how to speak, she's not raised well, or you don't need her, just leave her, you can get somebody else. Straight away, it's like, it's not allowed, it's not the norm. um, but on the flip side, there's nobody supporting. And the worst thing is, we without women, like, we give birth, we reproduce, and it's so sad that sometimes it's women that are not supporting other women. That's that's a hurtful thing. Like, as a woman, how could you, if you've been through it, but how could you then want another woman to go through that?
I think this makes me go back to like the conversation we were having about what we see in our families. And unfortunately, one of the things that comes up more often than not is a lot of female sort of, I wouldn't say matriarch, but sort of female elder members of the family. They would actually who have gone through abuse, by the way, themselves, who've suffered, make sure that their potential daughter-in-laws or their own daughters or whoever is a woman in the family go through the same thing, because they did. They didn't have a a support system. They didn't have anyone to save them. So why should they like sort of do anything for the new ones? It's like a rite of passage, I guess. And it blows my mind, because again, it varies from person to person. But then when we think that, okay, something bad has happened to me, I sort of touched fire, it hurt me, I'm going to make sure I don't touch fire again. And if anyone, like your child is about to say touch fire, you're going to be like, oh no, you're going to hurt yourself, right? Your automatic instinct is to protect, and your automatic instinct is to not repeat, hopefully, the mistake we did by touching the fire. But that analogy doesn't work when it comes to these women in the families who actually sort of handhold abusers and like perpetuate the violence over and over again. And like you said, it hurts extra. It's like so much more bitter, because women are supposed to understand women, right? And if we are not together supporting each other, what else is left?
No, you're right. And I feel maybe that can also be because they are also fearful, and maybe they're not able to get out of that situation themselves. So for them, it's just like I said, it's normal for them. Some of them could be where they're also like, okay, fine, if I now support this woman, it's going to have a ripple effect on me. How is that going to affect me?
Right.
So, so I should just stay quiet. I'm not.
So
gonna
it's
say
not about
anything.
them. They sort of look inwards and about themselves.
Yes. Well, how is this going to affect me? It could be in that sense as well. I'm just trying to understand. There's some women that may feel like that. That, okay, look, if I now stand up and voice and try to be a shield in front of this woman,
I'm going to get beaten. I'm going to get the heat.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. So then we're both going to get it. So I would just stay back, stay quiet,
not escalate this, not make it worse. Why get involved?
And let them deal with them. So that's a lot. I think we have to, and especially as women, we have to stand up for one another. And whatever may happen, we can't stay quiet. And like, touch wood, I feel like I'm strongly blessed, because I've come from a line of very strong women. Like my nan is an extremely strong woman. Then my mum, even though these two women are so strong, they've still suffered. And so looking at them, thinking, okay, they're so strong, they've still suffered. What hope is there for me?
Right.
So it's. And I have that backing, but there's women out there that don't have that backing.
No, they're very alone.
They're they're completely isolated. They don't have no one. And even if they do try to reach out for support, again, there's so many barriers that are in the way. They may not have a car to get to the place, or it could be a shame walking into like a women's center and saying, okay, why are you going there?
Right, there's so much shame attached to asking for help.
Yeah.
Why don't we ask for help? So, okay, like,
I don't know.
what stops us?
I think it's fear of being judged, like you said. Okay, to say that, or you feel that I can, as a woman, I should be able to do everything. Like, I should be able to maintain everything. And again, it's gone back to that thinking that, or because I can't, because I'm asking for help, there's something wrong with me.
I'm lesser because I asked for help. But then getting that help actually helps us be more of ourselves, right?
It does.
So from that perspective, I want to ask you, you've mentioned about meditation as a mindfulness tool. Personally, it doesn't work for me because, again, this is a me thing. I fall asleep and I overthink things. And I actually, if I'm quiet in full silence, I start panicking because I'm left alone with my thoughts. But then a lot of women have benefited from this. I know a lot of friends who've shared that sort of meditating helps them connect to themselves, right? You've also mentioned another, that is the mirror work, which I think is awesome. First time I've heard of it, and definitely something I want to try out. That is essentially you looking at yourself, your eyes, your soul, and talking to yourself. So that was another method you mentioned. So I just want to know, is there any other tool women can use to move from the sort of survival mode to actual self-actualization, like believing in themselves, sort of say they know at this stage, okay, I know something is off, someone is hurting me, I'm being emotionally abused. It could be many things. And I want to step out of it, and they're starting to take steps. And maybe they have moved on, but like you said, sometimes it hits you like a few months later. It takes a long time, 6 months. It could be any timeline, but at that stage, when you have started breaking the cycle, or you're in the process, what do you do to sort of rebuild, I guess?
Okay, so this is
Sorry for the lengthy question.
no, that's a very good question actually, because especially for women that have come out that cycle, they've understood. So when you end that cycle, it's very difficult.
One
You
thing,
do
yeah.
need a lot of support
Mm.
because you're very vulnerable. But coming out of that, it can take like 6 months, a year, 2 years, even 8 years.
Yeah, it's not linear. So
It can each to their own. Like everyone has their own. To kind of rebuild yourself, and I think it's important to kind of know your community. I feel it's when you're in that situation, you've been cut off from everything. But now that you're out of that, now it's in your hands. You need to take the bull by the horn. You literally need to take your
holding
life,
your reins.
and you have to think to yourself that, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, find yourself a community, find yourself strong women, not women that are going to belittle you, women that are going to empower you. Really go back in yourself, within yourself. I think for me, it took me a good 6 to 7 years to kind of like, to be where I am right now. But I've seen women that have come in, and the advice I would give to them is, okay, fine, that you're ready now. What can we do? What's good for you? If it's, I know you said visualization, like meditation is not good for you, then maybe visualizing the future. Try to, no one's saying to meditate, think about the life you want in the future. Visualize that life. And every day, focus on achieving those goals that are going to get you to that life. Write it down. That's the life I want. What goals do I have? What goals do I need to set to get to that life? But I feel that building a community, whether it's if you have a church, or if you go to a religious place, if you don't have any of those, find friends, whether it's online, libraries,
Honestly,
book clubs,
yeah.
anything. I think you just need to be
The
around
Women's Center of
people.
Halton.
100%. So many workshops.
Yes.
All of them are free. But I think you have
Self-plug,
to find your community. You have to find your people. You have to find um, your girls, and that's what it is. I think that's the the thing that will pull you back up is your women. You don't need to rush out into another relationship straight away. I find a lot of women sometimes do that because they think, oh my god, like all of a sudden, like it's quiet, there's nothing, I need to get into another relationship.
Oh my god, yes.
But we haven't done the work. The abuse is still there.
We haven't processed anything.
We haven't processed
We're just like
anything.
jumping hoops.
We've jumped into a relationship, and then we're taking that same expectations, what we have from the previous relationships or what's been given to us in that relationship, and we're like, okay, it's okay in the new relationship. It's fine if this is happening. So I feel that when you step out of that, give yourself time. Say, I'm going to, the next year is just about me, nobody else. Focus on yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes, like you said, we don't always have that support system. Most of us actually don't have that support system because, like I said before, families sometimes end up perpetuating all these, like enabling and supporting the violence. Maybe their intentions are good because they want you to have a happy married life or happy partnership, relationship, whatever. But then they're not really seeing it from the lens of the actual abuse because they don't believe it's even abuse because no one's like mocking you or anything. But in that situation, when you haven't had any support system, but then you've done the work or at least are doing the work, and then you have children and you see that they might be falling into the same patterns, maybe you can see someone's hurting them, or you can feel that they're getting into that like situation where someone is starting to, they haven't already completely, but they're starting to emotionally abuse them. And how important is it for you to sort of, without distancing the children, how can you protect them or try to from a mother's perspective? Because nowadays, I should mention, one of the parts of the Light the Path campaign is we're talking about invisible violence. And one of the biggest things is online violence, right? There's so many ways online violence is happening. You have stalkers, you've got like intimate partners sort of threatening to share personal images, intimate photos of you, or just stalking, you're just, following you around, checking your phone and
Mm.
everything. So emotional abuse, there are so many forms, right? It can happen online as well. We don't really think about it.
No.
So when you see a young person, a daughter, going through this, it happens to girls disproportionately. So when you see them going through it, how can you sort of try to safeguard them as much as possible?
Mhm. So like we can't I would just block my daughter on Instagram. But we're not here to talk about
Okay,
what I would do.
that
Okay.
escalated.
No,
Okay.
but I would just say that I think it's important to again to teach them. Like,
Mm,
it's important for schools to
mm,
have this, and I think doing like, there's so many online, like now you can do online workshops with your children to show them what invisible violence looks like. Um, if you give them the tools from this young age, then they will recognize it themselves, and they will be like, okay, this is not right. So I
something's
think
flagging.
something's not right. This is a red flag. It's not good. Um, my mom's taught me this, or my auntie's taught me this, or whoever's teachers taught me this. So they know that this is not right,
Hmm.
and they would automatically try to step back from it. But if already they're at that age, it's teenage years, and they haven't been taught any of that, I think the way to do this is, I think, a lot, maybe listen to podcasts, have a one-on-one with them, speak to them. And you know what it is, I always feel that, especially coming from an Indian background, that you can't be open about you can't be vulnerable in front of your children, you can't lay your story out in front of them. But sometimes, like, I find there's certain things you can't just be honest, just say, this is what's happened to me and I don't want this to happen to you. I think honesty in every relationship is it's the most important thing. There's certain things that you don't want your those young ears to listen to or to hear, but you can say it in a way that is, you're not giving them all the glory details or everything. You're just simply telling them that this is not right and this is why it's not right, or give them scenarios. Get them involved in the community, take them out. So I take my daughter out to any of community events that we have. Like there was, like, even if it's Take Back the Night, or if there's
Right, it's lovely.
any speaking events when you've
Hmm.
got young women that are speaking about the abuse that they've. Take your children there, so
Hmm.
they can hear what's going on in the world, and don't just cover them with, like, um, a cloud. Like, we grew up, when I grew up, my mum covered us with a cloud. We didn't know that there was bad things that were happening until we started seeing it is
It happened
happening.
to
It
us.
is happening in our
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
Don't protect them to that point. So I think it's really important to, kids are learning so much at a young age. They're already, like, boyfriends and girlfriends are starting from the age 10, 11 now.
Yeah.
So they are open, they see everything on the internet.
And everything's so much faster.
It is.
It's because of technology.
Mm.
Again, it has brought a lot of benefits, fine, but then not being able to use
Use
it
it.
right, it's
Mm.
just made things so much, much more worse.
It has.
And the things that you said, those are very important things for parents to remember, moms and dads, everyone to remember. But we also need to teach those things to the boys,
Boys, yeah.
because they're potentially, sadly, I have to say, potentially the future perpetrators
Yeah.
of these different kinds of violence. Not
Yeah.
everyone is, of course. Not another thing I wanted to say, you mentioned earlier that there are these signs of emotional abuse, and men go through it as well.
Mm.
Men also need to do the same kind of work to make sure they can sort of heal themselves so that they don't hurt others, right? And we don't really talk to men about this,
Mm.
and we do not talk to our boys about this.
Mm.
And the easiest ways of boys will be boys, and that's where we'll leave it off at. And nowadays there are so many terrible misogynistic podcasts that are telling boys and men that women are lesser, they're awful, they're not equal. So whatever work that has been done in the past couple of decades, thanks to online access, actually, it's regressing. So it's extra important for the parents to have these conversations with their girls, of course, but with the boys,
Yeah.
right? And from that note, I want to talk about boundaries,
Mm.
because boys, girls, young adults need to have boundaries. And from the boundary perspective, how can we sort of start setting them so that we've survived, we've sort of gone wounds to wonder, okay, we've triumphed and gone away from the pain for now. How can we sort of set boundaries or do things so that we do not fall in the same cycle with someone else?
So boundaries, I think boundary setting is very important for women and for young boys and girls. how to set them is, again, it comes back to what's taught at home. Like we expect, okay, the schooling system to teach everything, and yes, and they're trying. Okay, we send our kids to school, they will figure it out. But this is something that we have to teach them at home. If we can't set our own boundaries, how can we then expect our children to set them? So set your boundaries, even with the children as well. Like, they will try to push past your boundaries, but no.
They push buttons.
My daughter pushes only buttons. So it's like, this is a boundary.
I hope she's watching this.
I'm using her as an example, but putting those boundaries up. Yeah, so we have to put them, whether it's at work, whether it's with family, whether it's with children. If they see us doing it, then they will then be able to do that with themselves. But
it's like leading by practice.
Yes, have this discussion on the dinner table instead of having the phones. I have no phone rule on the dining table.
How does that work out?
Unless I'm working, the phone's not on the dining table.
Okay.
So it's like, at that point, then you have to talk. Then this is conversations to have on the dining table to teach the young women and the young boys that this is and it's not okay for boys to think that they can just do what they want. So it's important for the parents to say, have these open discussions. Okay, so how is school? Ask them how is school. How anything happened today. Be on a level where you can be friends with them, but also have that respect. Okay, I'm your mum, or I'm your dad. There is respect, but at the same time, I want you to be able to come to talk to me about anything.
There is an open door.
There is an open door. Don't judge them. Don't snap at them straight away. Yes, you may want to.
It's hard not to.
But it's hard not to. But I think that's how they will learn boundary setting, through the examples that we put in front of them.
Okay.
But also by taking them to all these events that are happening outside within the community for them to learn.
Yeah. That is actually one of the things that are comparatively more practically able to be done by parents. That is sort of connect. We're always online. We're always like all the kids, all the young people. Again, it is fine. We are from the generation where sort of we had full access to the internet, right? This is also one way of disconnecting and connecting with our families, right? Necessarily, if I do not have children yet, and I do connect with my friends' kids as well as like nephews, nieces, and I talk to them and try to sort of understand from their level. It's not always possible, obviously, because huge generation gap. It's like a lifetime of differences. But I think as adults who've been through all this turmoil and drama, one of the things we can do to sort of help ourselves not snap is sort of go back
to our childhood,
right? When we're 15, were we really thinking straight?
No.
Weren't we hormonal? Weren't we doing whatever the hell we wanted, right? We didn't get away with a lot of it, though. We did not that
there was a lot of restrictions,
right?
People were watching us,
yes,
all the time. Over here, the kids are just going out doing whatever they want.
Yeah, but then also kids nowadays are also being watched by their peers, not as much as us, because we did not have that kind of screen time. Like, I don't even remember when we got like phones in our hands, like late teens and stuff like that, right? Or older, I guess. But then now they're being watched everywhere. So that's also pretty scary for like parents to think about. But I think what you said, like sort of think back at that time and sort of connect with them. And it's very important, I feel, that when we're doing the work, again, it is unfortunate, but when we're doing the work for ourselves, we also need to think of someone else when we have children, when we have responsibilities. Maybe not children, could be you could be an aunt, family member, someone you're going, it could be your sister, really, right, going through all of this. But then if we've been through it and we see the warning signs, we should, again, try our best to sort of point them out, even if we'll be hated for it, very likely, right?
And that's fine, because I'd rather be hated for something than have that it could potentially be far worse. Somebody could, that mental abuse can make a person want to take their own life,
right?
And so I'd rather have it that somebody hates me but they're still living,
right?
So that's how we have to think of it. Like, yes, we have to intervene, we have to step in. If we see somebody outside being jumped on or being hit, are we not going to step in? Are we not going to call somebody for help? Yes, we are, So
and if we're not, we need some other problems to sort out in our heads.
So then same thing. So if this is going on and we witnessed it or we know of it, it's our duty to also step in. in whichever way we can. Sometimes it's not safe to directly
Yeah,
step
yeah,
in,
yeah.
but find ways that we can
Get
support that
someone else
individual.
to help and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not encouraging people to jump into
No,
situations
no,
which are
no.
unsafe at all. But if we can do something, we
Mm.
can try to find someone who can,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, find resources or do something.
Right. Yeah. Connect
Um,
to community, right?
mm,
I think I'm going to wrap up this conversation that we're having with one of the things is you mentioned
Mm.
that we're scared of writing new stories for ourselves.
mm,
Okay. And that is true. From sort of starting their own new stories, and also sharing their stories, how can we sort of avoid the pressure or fear of staying quiet, like hiding ourselves?
We have to think to yourself that if your story can save one person's life, then would you not want to share it?
Mm.
It's saving another person from making the same mistakes that you've made. So that's a way I think we have to be able to share our story. And in order to rewrite our future, rewrite our story, we're scared because we don't know what's going to happen, but that's okay. This is now you're out of this. Now it's up to you how you want to see your future. So whatever story you want, like you
Just
can
get
do
it out there.
whatever. Just get it out there.
You can just like change something in someone's head, you know.
I think it's important. Like even if you make a change, I always go by the motto, even if I can just help one woman that comes into the center and she leaves feeling good about herself, I feel that my work is I feel fulfilled. And that's it. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. And thank you for fulfilling us as well. Honestly, it's just always lovely to talk to Sukhi, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity today. So before we wrap up, we do something at the end of the podcast. Is we have this really pretty box, and
I love the box.
yes, we think of it. Hi guys, it's back again. As the grandmother's box, we have grandmother's wisdom and thoughts that we get throughout our lives, right? And some of it's life changing. So what we generally do is we sort of think of a quote that's really close to us or we love, and we write it down and put it in the box, and then in the end we're going to share it with everyone. So here's the box, and here is some paper and pen, whatever. Just take a minute to write something that's important. Something, maybe it can come from your grandmother, it can be something that you thought of that connected with you, like you heard something, can be anything. I actually want to share a song, not necessarily something my grandmother wrote, but something that really moved me when I heard of it first. It's the song's name is Savage Daughter. So I'm gonna write that down. It's by Ecterina. I can't recall her last name.
I don't need to put my name on it, do I?
Oh no, it's totally up to you.
Well, I can put my name on it. It's fine.
That's totally fine. It's okay. Whatever makes you comfortable, all good. Best time to the pen's ink not to work, but anyway.
My handwriting's not very good.
Yeah, 6 scribbles. So do you want to share or do you want to keep it in the box? What do you feel like
I
doing?
can share it.
Okay, that's nice.
So it's similar to what we were just saying. So it's your voice is your power. Never let anyone take that away from you. So always remember that.
That is very beautiful. And weirdly, the song that I'm talking about, the line goes something like, obviously I can't remember the exact lyrics, but I am my mother's savage daughter. And in the end, it goes, I will not lower my voice. Yeah.
So we're really connecting with
yes.
the color scheme.
Oh yeah, we're also matching. So yeah, that
mine-
was not coordinated,
Yeah,
honestly.
no.
Like she came into work much later and I came in like really harassed and stuff. But yeah, this is very cool.
See, I know this goes as well.
Yes, this will go inside the box. Oh, there's a lot of cute stuff happening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sukhi, for writing in Grandmother's Wisdom box. And thank you so much for your time today. I hope our viewers, whoever logged on and has been watching us live, got to sort of connect to the things that we talked about and hopefully can either help yourselves or help someone else that you love who may be going through emotional abuse. So, is there anything you want to share with everyone before we wrap up?
No, I just want to say, look, thank you again for having me on today. It's nice to be sitting here next to you.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, if there's anyone that knows anything or wants to connect, just connect with the Women's Centre of Halton. You can get my email address when you telephone. Connect with me directly. If you feel that you want to share your story, but you don't want to do it with anyone else, we can have a one-on-one. I'm happy, to sit down and have a chat. But please do reach out if it's not with us. Any other resources or community partners, we will definitely like to connect you.
Yeah. And we also, during our working hours, we have peer support volunteers who are tremendous and they would love to sit with you, have a cup of tea, and just listen to you. And we have them over the phone as well. So you can come in person, but if you feel like you're not comfortable to actually be in person to sit with someone, just call us. Honestly, every day we're here from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. as an online, like remotely. So you can just call us and talk to us as well. And also, thank you everyone for joining us today. Until next week. Bye bye.
Bye.